Yes, Siri, what is it? Hey, welcome everybody to Mike's Epic Podcast. Here we are again, and today we're in the studio. I hope you liked that introductory logo, because with me here in studio is Randy Fane. Randy, welcome. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Mike.
Randy Fane, Professor Emeritus of the VCT program in video production. Randy, I want to congratulate you on your retirement.
Thank you.
You survived
working. I did
being part of the video program. Yeah. So tell me a little, let's kind of just give a brief history now. When did you start here at Century, and what was the story leading up to being the instructor here?
Okay, well, originally I was a student here at Century.
Okay.
And that's when the school first opened back in the early 70s, 72, 73.
Okay.
In fact, they had classes, first of all, down in North St. Paul at an old grocery store. And then when I joined the program, which was at that time called AVTV Production,
okay.
This half of the building, like from the doorways over there,
yeah.
was complete. The other half was still under construction.
Oh, wow.
So, and at that time, it was a really interesting system. It was a 12-month facility. Students would come all year. And it was an open entry, open exit system, where you would start 1 month and maybe graduate the month you were done. So I could have started in September or November and finished in August.
But how could you do group projects if students are at different levels?
Well,
you just jump in.
Well, you just jump in, and it was all what they call individualized instruction, where you would work in a resource center and you'd watch, at that time, slide productions. You'd have flip charts with pictures and typed in audio, and then small group things.
Okay.
And then you would sort of get a group together at a certain point, and the students that were further ahead would, in essence, mentor the students that were newer.
Got it.
And you would work that way. So a lot of real small group lectures, individual lectures, and a lot of work on your own. So it was kind of a forerunner to online learning to a certain degree.
That's really cool. How typically, how long was the program? What, start to graduation?
It was a 12-month program.
Okay.
But based again on the system, you could have been here for 9 months and completed, or possibly 15 months.
Okay.
It was all based on individualized instruction and your own motivation.
It's probably fairly similar to the amount of instruction now. It's just that we're, 2 years, but it's 2 semesters with the entire summer off.
Right, and it was also a situation where you would come in and punch clock. You had a time clock, you'd punch your card on a time clock at 7:30, and you'd punch out at 2:15.
Okay, really
every day.
Cool. Wow.
So it was more like a job.
Now, I understand there's an interesting story that you have about something you did right before you went into the Army.
What's that?
You went to a concert?
Oh, yes. That was the era of Woodstock, the music festival. So I went to Woodstock Music Festival, and of course, that was right before I went into the Army, and that was during the Vietnam era, and I was drafted. Only I didn't go to Vietnam, I went to Korea, which is kind of a weird thing.
Right.
But when I got out of the service, Vietnam was still going on, and that was all the stuff that was still happening in the world around
But that's certainly a culture shock going from Woodstock directly into the Army.
Yes, definitely a culture shock. It was like 2 weeks from the end of what I did to going in the service.
Wow. So I've got some tape roll that we're going to play, and this is actually from 1998, and this is a tour of the campus. So if we're ready in the control room, why don't you guys go ahead and roll that?
And I'm supposed to recognize this and describe it?
You're supposed to recognize this. So.
Oh, the parking lot. Yeah, there's a parking lot.
So this
that parking lot's still there. It's bigger now.
Dan, you can hear us, right? So this East Campus looks fairly similar, doesn't it? There's the ramp.
Yep, there's the ramp, and of course they added onto the building as they go off to the as they pan off to the right.
Oh, stay on the video feed. There we go. Yeah, see, there's no Science Library building.
Yep. But you can see Lakewood. at that time, which was the West Campus now. It was called Lakewood at that time.
This was Northeast Metro?
Yep.
And Lakewood was the community college on the other side?
Correct. We weren't joined. They were separate facilities.
Huh.
Flagpole's still there.
Yep. Little improvement. There's the ramp.
Yep. So that should be really familiar.
They've done some work on the facade, but again, no science library. It's like was there a parking ramp on that end? What's that brick
nope.
on the side there?
That's an entrance.
Oh, okay.
That's all that is an entrance.
So there's looking across at the
West Campus.
Yeah, and those stoplights are still there.
Yep, yep.
And
there's that entrance that you saw.
The
that
side
was
of the
facade.
building. All right. Looks like looking across from the West Campus over to East.
Yep.
Where the Science Library building would be, because it almost comes right to that intersection.
It does.
And there's no bridge.
Nope, no bridge. Not at this point.
When did they build the bridge? Was that once it combined as a school?
Yep, when they basically were combining them, and then they built off of the Northeast Metro or the East Campus, and they also built off of Lakewood at the time, where the theater is. There's West. Oh, we got West Campus footage. It looks like. Yep.
So that hasn't changed a great deal.
No.
It's still the mostly concrete
That's
in
the
the
theater, right?
area.
Yep. Yep. That looks really, really the same, except again they've built off of the backside of the theater.
Now look at this guy's outfit. Hat backwards and jeans. That hasn't changed in 10 years.
Your students don't. Look at that guy's got his hat backwards, doesn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
He's got blue hair though. That's what's different.
Well, that is different. Yes.
Slightly older cars.
Yeah, but this
there's
is
the front entrance.
Oop, going into the library.
So the library was on the West Campus, obviously, because there's no new building. There's downstairs to the nest.
Yep. And of course, there was a library on the West Campus and also a library on the East Campus.
Yep, those stairs are still there going down to the nest.
Yep.
But the nest wasn't there. Oh, what is all this?
Classrooms, I believe.
Actually, this might be the library. Oh, this is all opened up then.
Oh, yes, that is the library.
Concrete bunker.
Yeah, that's still there, the concrete. I think they painted it to make it a little more interesting.
Okay. Well, I like that guy's outfit.
But they used to call it kind of a prison because of the concrete nature of the building.
Yeah.
That's what the students used to say about it. Felt like a prison.
Well, it's much nicer now. I do recognize those windows.
Yep.
There's some classrooms that overlook those windows. Now, was the pond and everything back there, kind of the wood duck trail and off of the West Campus, the pond was there?
Yep, yep, that was there. And you know, it's funny, for all the years I've been here, I'm not sure I've ever been on the wood duck trail. But it's there. That's part of the reason why you haven't got the road out in front of both of them any wider. Because of the environmental impact of that.
Can't get onto that, affect that little pond.
Because it would be a great thing to do to widen that road and make it a little more easy to get in and out of the two different campuses.
This does not look like they were using an electronic gimbal to steady the shot there.
No, they were hand holding this.
What kind of cameras did you guys use back then?
We used, let's see if, I thought we might get a picture of one of them. They were, let's see, which one? Z21s, I think, which were Hitachi.
Okay.
Back then. The very first camera they had was a Norelco camera, which was about, it was huge with the lens, I mean huge, and maybe weighed, if you took it off the tripod, 80 pounds.
Get out.
No,
The camera weighed 80 pounds?
Yep, yep.
So you only did it like in this studio?
Yes, or you could roll it someplace.
Or you
that's
could
tripod.
roll it. Yeah.
You could not shoulder.
Oh, there's
hold
computers. Look at those new computers. Wow, huge computer area.
This is on the West Campus.
And what did it record to?
A handheld, a shoulder-mounted kind of 3/4 inch deck.
Wow, wow, okay.
So you carry the deck and the camera separately. Even when you were shooting with handheld cameras, the decks were separate.
Yeah.
The 3/4 inch portable decks. And you have one still, I think, somewhere, don't you?
Yeah, in the history cabinet.
Yeah.
That's very good.
Yep. So,
So,
Hitachi mostly.
yeah. So we've got another tape roll that you're going to be interested in. We've got a bunch of photos that we've made into a montage. Why don't we go ahead and play that?
Oh my goodness. This is the very first graduating class from this college. It's made up of students that were in the AV-TV production program as well as students from other areas.
Yeah.
And this was maybe like the third or fourth class. The original 3 instructors are in there.
Yeah, I see you in there.
Yeah, I was probably at that time working here
There,
as
you
a
are in the
production
front
person.
row center.
Yep. Because my history is I went to the class here,
Yeah.
then I left and did some production work, then I came back and did production work for the college.
Yeah.
So I worked here for 3 years possibly, just doing production work.
Right.
And then the faculty member who is no longer in the pictures anymore took a leave of absence, and I filled in, and then he didn't come back, and I became one of the instructors.
That's kind of familiar. I took over for you while you were in sabbatical and stuck around.
And originally the instructors were not only instructors, they were production people.
Sure.
So they did production for the college as well as.
Here's a wildly looking crew.
Yeah, it is. They did production work for the college as well as instructing in the program.
Yeah.
And the students also did a lot of production work for.
I have that same sentiment nowadays for some of the students.
Yeah, you feel that way now.
That's right there by the Lincoln Mall. I recognize the stairs there.
Yeah. And we played volleyball a lot. So this was like I think we played against the students and won, and we got the trophy. I think that's what happened on that.
I recognize Dan still in 916.
Yeah, yeah. And it's really interesting because a lot of these people too basically are still friends.
Yeah.
Whether they're students or not. So I can find pictures here of people that are still out there in industry. General Mills is an example. Channel 2, variety of people that are still out there.
Yeah. Looks like you had some pretty good sized groups there going through the program.
Yeah, but unlike you guys, this was the whole program. Because we taught at that time video and a little bit of photography, and then the graphic to support the video. Where now it's much bigger and you have really separate areas.
Ah, okay.
Because it was an audiovisual television production class, so it was kind of lumped into one.
The precursor to visual communications.
Yes, the precursor.
Okay.
And it's grown immensely since it's been visual communications technology. Well, that's a work study student I had.
People hamming it up a little bit there.
Yeah. So that was Gwen. She was a work study student. And she was actually a student of the deaf program. She learned sign language and would work with deaf students.
Oh.
So, and this is how I sleep. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
So, yeah, and I'm seeing a number of different instructors that have come through.
Yeah, this is not necessarily in order, I guess. I had a lot of your photos and just was snapping some pictures to make this montage.
And you should keep these, you know, and hang on to them or give the digital files to somebody.
And they're hamming it up. You always get, even nowadays, there's still students that are just like, I see Kim in that program. Still students goofing around.
Yep, Kim's in a few of these pictures. But yes, a number of different instructors. It's interesting when the students go out there and get into industry, how much they come around. Like you're talking about 3M now, right? And that was an old contact of a student who worked in the production area who then moved into the IT area.
Yep.
And then that person called and talked to you about getting interns.
Yep.
So it's interesting how all that spreads out in a big spider web.
There's that macho man.
I don't recognize that person. So.
But I think the next shot is that you guys had some pool parties. Looks like you had a fun group.
It was. We had a lot of fun. One of the instructors made that T-shirt that I'm wearing on the right side there, and had it printed.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had a lot of fun. We'd camp together. We would go camping, have a yearly camping trip.
Yep.
All the students would go out, and we'd have a lot of fun.
Okay.
I'm sleeping again. My eyes are closed.
There we are.
Yeah, the physique has changed a bit, but
still the same guy.
Still the same guy. Yep.
So if looking back on, technology that's come and gone, trends and things like that, I suppose, with that much history, it really, the computers and the cameras and the things don't matter as much. What's the enduring things? If you had to say advice for the long-term career, what things endure in this industry?
Well, the technology always changes, and you have to keep up with the technology. And for your students now, the technology changes a whole lot faster than it did for the students back then.
Yeah.
Because, as an example, if I look out here, the cameras are really cameras, and they still operate the same. The functioning is maybe a little different internally. It's not tubes like the cameras were originally, or chips. They're different. But still, you've got a lens, you've got a camera, it's capturing the video. So there's a lot of things that are
recording
still,
somehow.
A lot of stuff's still the same. You edit, and there's certain kinds of ways of editing, whether you use an old tape machine or you use a computer.
Yeah.
You're editing for a certain story to get across an idea. How you manipulate the equipment to do the editing. I can go way back to where I used to put pieces of tape in reel-to-reel machines to get them to time out to do the edit at the right point.
Right.
Now it's much easier. You can just watch your monitor and figure out where it is, put your in points and your out points, and boom, it does it for you.
Computer,
It's like cutting and pasting a document.
Yeah.
So it's much faster. You could never afford, in the old days, the equipment.
Yeah.
Now, anybody here can afford the equipment to do their own production work. You can do it all on your phone.
Right.
So that's all different, but the real enduring things are telling that story, getting a good production put together. That's to get across the information. That's really important, and that's the same.
Right.
The nature of the students are really important too, in terms of trying to pay attention, be really on top of things. Kim told me you guys, your students helped in a production recently for the film board.
Yep.
And that's a wonderful experience because they can see how important even the smallest little job is.
Right.
If you aren't paying attention, you're not involved in it, you're kind of on your phone or you're distracted, something happens and boom, it ruins that part of the production.
Right.
So they have to be really involved in any kind of a production, no matter what their job is.
So that idea of collaboration and group work, that continues.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
No matter what the technology is.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And everybody's important. Everybody, no matter what their job is.
Last closing advice to our young students in their careers, what would you say?
Let's see, that's a really good question. I found that students that are the real successful ones are the ones that like people, like working in this area and doing all the things that are involved in this area. I think they become students, in essence, of human nature, because when they go into a production situation, people look to them to lead, to tell people what to do and show them how to do it, and they have to work with each other. So it's really important to like people and to be really willing to work hard. It's a lot harder than people think. It takes a lot more time. And there are all kinds of problems that can happen. In fact, if you think it's going to go well, it is not going to go well.
Creative problem solving.
Yes, yes.
Okay, very good. Randy, thank you so much. Can we have you back sometime?
Sure.
On Mike's Epic Podcast?
Sure, absolutely.
All right, there you go. Camera one, thank you for tuning in. This has been Mike's Epic Podcast. See you next time.